Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Twisdale for lesson 4.2, rates and ratios. Today your objective is I can write rates and ratios with an extra I there. Not sure what that's about. Let's see if I can delete that. There we go. I could write rates and ratios. So a rate, we talked yesterday about what a ratio is. It's that comparison of two things. A rate is also a comparison of two quantities, but two quantities that have a different unit of measure. So looking at this picture, we're comparing milk to money, and that would be a rate. So if one milk gallon costs $3, that would be considered a rate, not necessarily a ratio. Sometimes people use the words rates and ratio kind of interchange, which means they use both for the same thing, even though they're not technically the same thing. Okay, so first we're going to start with 3 different ways to write a ratio. I'm going to come back to the ego problem, but I want you to just look right here. Okay? You can use 3 different ways to write a ratio. You can write it in a word form with the word to in the middle, T-O. You can write it as a fraction with the first number on the top, the second number on the bottom. Or you can write it with a colon, which is that double dot, kind of like we see when we write the time. Okay? So, those are the 3 different ways to write a ratio. All are correct. Make sure that you know those 3 different ways. So, let's go back to the problem. A bird rescue group is caring for 3 eagles, 2 hawks, and 5 owls in their rescue center. And then here it talks about 3 ways to write ratios. Ratios can be written to compare a part to a part to a whole, or a whole to a part. So, what that means is if we're looking at the things that we have eagles, hawks, and owls. All of these are birds. I want you to think, how many birds are there all together? If you count those up, 3 eagles plus 2 hawks plus 5 owls equals 10 birds. And that's our whole. So that's going to come in handy when we work down here. When I talk whole to part, when I talk whole, that means all of the birds together. So first we're going to look at owls to hawks. Remember in lesson 4.1, I talked about how the first word should show the first number. So how many owls are there? Look back at the problem. There's 5 owls. And how many hawks were there? Which will be my second number. Come back to the problem. Just 2 hawks. So if you write 2 to 5, it's wrong because that's not what the problem said. It said owls to hawks, not hawks to owls. Writing it as a fraction, you want to write top and bottom. And as a colon, 5. So let's look at the next one. We want to take eagles to total birds in the rescue center. So how many eagles are there? Back to the problem. Looks like there's 3 eagles, so that's going to be our first number. And then looking back, the second thing, total birds in the rescue center. So when I add up all of them, 3 plus 2 plus 5, 10 birds. And that's the ratio, 3 to 10. And then I want to write it down here. And then finally, we have total birds in the rescue center. The number of hawks there are. So the first number is the total birds, which is 10. And the number of hawks is 2. So this is a part to whole ratio. Sorry, a whole to part. Because we started with the whole number first, the whole number of birds. We ended with the part. So those are the 3 different ways to write a ratio. Using words, as a fraction, and with a colon. In your notes, you should have this part, and this part. Okay. Right, now I'm going to work on rate. So this is still in your notes side of the page. If a restaurant sells a veggie burger at the rate of $4 for one burger, what rate gives the cost of 5 veggie burgers? Write the rate for 5 burgers using words as a fraction and with a colon. So right here, using words as a fraction with a colon, that's what we just learned on the last page. Okay, so let's look at our table. For one veggie burger, it costs $4. That's called the unit rate. Unit means one. So for just one burger, $4. So how much would 2 burgers cost? Guys, don't think of this as like math book stuff. This is stuff that you know how to do anyway. If one burger is $4, 2 burgers is $8. And 3 burgers would be $12. 4 burgers would be $16. And 5 burgers would be $20. Okay? Because we're just multiplying it by 4 each time because that's how much one burger costs. So, the unit rate, write the rate in 3 different ways. Let's see. Hold on, sorry, I was trying to figure out what this was telling me to do. Write the rate in 3 different ways. Okay, so we have, if we're looking at just this first rate, we could do a 1 to 4 as a fraction, and then with the word 2 in the middle there. That's the 3 different ways to write the rate. So we did that. Now the rate that gives the cost of 3 veggie burgers, let's write that in 3 different ways. So we're looking at the 3 burgers would be a 3 to 12 ratio. We want to write it with words, as a fraction, and with a colon. And then the rate that gives the cost of 4 veggie burgers, write it with words, 4 to 16. Fractions, sorry, I forgot what I was doing. And then with the colon, 4 to 16. So this is just practicing writing it in those different ways. And then this is the ratio, the unit rate. And the reason that this ratio is the unit rate is because it is showing the cost for one burger. The unit is always the 1. It's showing the cost for just one burger. And we're going to get lots of practice with unit rate and finding how much just one costs or how much one weighs to help us out. Alright, let's go on to the next thing and get some. Okay, so here you're going to write the ratio in 2 different ways. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. So see, they wrote it in fraction. If they wrote it in fraction, you have to write it in the 2 other ways. So remember, you can write it as a fraction. Oops, I was going to write these for you. As a fraction, in word form, using the word 2, using 2, or using a colon in the middle, which is the clock dots. So, for your example, we're going to take what they used a fraction already, so we still need to write in word and using a colon. So in word form, we would do 16 to 40, and using a colon, we would do 16 dot dot 40. Go ahead and try 8 and 9 on your own. Okay, so number 8, they used a colon, so we need to write it as a fraction and in word form. So fraction would be 8 over 12. And in word form, it would be 8 to 12. And on this one, they used word form, so we need to write it as a fraction, 4 to 11, or 4 over 11, and then with a colon again, 4 dot dot 11. All right, here's your level 3 try it for ratios. I have a level 3 try it for ratios, and then one more for rates. So we're going to take a look at this little picture here. I'm going to read and explain it, and then I'll let you try it. So we've got this cute little birdhouse. You'll notice the triangle ABC. Okay. We want to write the ratio of AB to BC in 3 different ways. So here's AB, and notice the number, and here's BC. And you're going to write that as a ratio. Then you're going to write the ratio of the shortest side length of triangle ABC to the perimeter of the triangle in 3 different ways. And then finally, you're going to write the ratio of the perimeter of the triangle ABC to the longest side length of the triangle in 3 different ways. I want you to try it and then check your work. Alright, so let's start off with this easier one. Write the ratio of AB to BC. So AB is this line right here, which is 28. I'm going to start with that, 28. And then to BC is 12 inches, dot, dot, 12. So there's one way. Let's write it with words, 28 to 12. And finally, as a fraction, 28 over 12. So that's how we do the first problem. Oops, that was supposed to be a check mark, say that we were done with that one. So let's go on to the next problem. And we were just writing ratios there. Here we want to write the ratio of the shortest side length. So first I need to find what's the shortest side. I've got 28, 12, and 24. Well, I know, because I know how to order integers, that 12 is the smallest, so that's going to be my first number in my ratio. And I'm comparing it to the perimeter of the triangle. Now, perimeter is the whole outside edge added together. So 12 plus 24 plus 28. Well, I know 12 plus 24 is 36. I'll show you though. So I did 12 plus 24, and it gave me 36. And then I'm going to add 28. And I'm just adding up those sides. And it gave me 64. So that would be my second number in my ratio. So I have 12 to 64. I write it 12 in word form and as a fraction. And that's how you would write it, with the shortest side to the perimeter of the triangle. And finally, we're going to write the ratio. Oh, we'll give it a check mark because we did that one. Let's write a ratio of the perimeter. Oh, we already know that. Here's my perimeter. Oh, that's supposed to say perimeter. Sorry, it's sloppy. Of triangle ABC to the longest side length of the triangle. So we have to find the longest side, which would be not 12, not 24, it'd be 28. So I already found my perimeter. We would start with that number this time. 64 to 28. 64 dot dot 28, and 64 over 28. And that's how we would solve that final problem. Alright, let's go ahead and go to the next final try it. Okay, we're going to try it for rates. This is a level 3 problem as well. I'm not into level 4 problems because we're not far enough in the chapter yet. Leandra placed 6 photos on each page in a photo album. Find the rate that gives the number of photos on 2 pages. Write this rate in 3 different ways. Okay, so hopefully you tried the problem. I'm going to draw a little picture here. So if she has 1 page, she would have 6 photos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 photos on the page. And that would be a rate of 1 to 6. But I want to know how much for 2 pages. So if she had another page, there would be 6 more photos. So for 2 pages, there would be a total of 12 photos. So we would have 2 to 12. 2, and we're writing it in 3 different ways. And 2 over 12. And that's how we would find the rate and write it in 3 different ways. Alright, boys and girls, that's all of your lesson for today. I hope you have a fabulous day of learning. Please, 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 as always, ask lots of questions, do your appetizers and practice problems, and be ready for whole group. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day of learning.